Welcome back to your daily news of Montgomery. Today's topic will be about the bus boycott. News reporter Jim Lawson will talk more about it.
Life in Montgomery, 1950s, Jim Crow laws were the way of life. You cannot drink the same water as a black person, walk on the same street as a black, or sit with a black person on a bus. And on December 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat to a white woman, starting the Montgomery bus boycott of 1955.
But before we get to that, let's backtrack a little. As we know, life in Montgomery back then wasn't the best. Blacks were treated very unfairly and were threatened by the KKK, Ku Klux Klan. Action needed to be taken. The story starts with Claudette Colvin, a 16-year-old girl who was forced to give up her seat. News reporter Jana Lopez will talk more about this topic.
Claudette was from New Jersey, where there were little to no segregation laws. She came to Montgomery, Alabama to visit her relatives in 1949. Knowing nothing about the segregation laws, she sat down on the bus. The bus driver saw that the bus was filling up and told the blacks to move over to the back. Everyone moved except Claudette. Claudette was screamed at the bus driver and got off the bus crying. Her case wasn't taken as she was just too young and emotional to be put in court.
Rosa Parks, the core starter of the bus boycott. Rosa Parks is a 42-year-old woman. She worked as a seamstress, and one day after work on December 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat to a white woman. She was asked why she didn't give up her seat, and she simply said, "Why do you always push us around?" She was arrested and taken to the jail where she was later fingerprinted and put in jail. Later, she was bailed out of the jail by the jurors, a white couple who were civil rights activists. When most people think of Montgomery back then, or the boycott, or anything else about that, you would think of Rosa Parks. Or you would think of Martin Luther King Jr. King was one of the most memorable people of the boycott. King was married to Coretta Scott, and on December 5th, 1955, they looked outside their living room window and saw that the buses were empty. Martin Luther King was a civil rights activist that came from Atlanta, Georgia, and moved to Montgomery, Alabama. Leaflets were passed out saying not to ride the bus on Monday, 5th, 1955, and they did exactly that. Buses were almost empty with the exception of a few whites. Everyone was walking and carpooling others to make sure that they would get to work and back on time. King worked at the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church across from the state capitol. He gave his first ever speech there. Here's a small clip of the speech. It was the first week of the official boycott. Police started to threaten taxi drivers who charged more than the minimum amount. They were very unsure if they wanted to continue the boycott because they were scared of the higher ranks, the whites. Police tried to get on their side and trick them into riding the bus, but it didn't work and everyone continued to boycott. People started volunteering to carpool, but the mayor banned carpooling. This didn't stop the boycotters, and they continued to walk. People were proud to go to jail because it was like an award to them, almost honoring. On Tuesday, November 13th, King was called into the back room of the church and got a letter saying that bus segregation was unconstitutional. It took a while for the law to actually go through, but when it did, everyone was able to sit wherever they wanted. That's it for today's news. Make sure to follow to keep up with the latest trends. Montgomery News signing out.